That's the one on the TV.
All lies will be exposed.
Hey everyone, cheers and salutations. Welcome to a very special episode of Hard Lens Media. We're going to be talking about the fallout of Charlie Kirk's assassination. There's going to be different segments I will be addressing, as well as other stories as well in today's morning show. Usually I do the funny segments such as the morning dump and all the funny videos. I'll be saving that at the end because we got a lot of stuff to swim through, and I want to treat everything that we're going to be covering today with absolute seriousness and, more importantly, the respect that is due for this story. I know that there are a lot of people who have differing opinions about Charlie Kirk and his viewpoints, but I want to make it very clear that this is a man who is at the age of 31, a father of 2, and his life was cut short. He was 9 years younger than me. And right now, I'm getting the sense politically and emotionally that there is a lot of anger, fear, confusion, hatred. And I'm hoping that today's episode can bring in some calmness and peace. So, to my moderators, please keep an eye on the chat. That goes for all platforms, but also everyone, please respect each other's opinions and perspectives. I will not encourage nor will I tolerate any form of cheering of any type of violence towards anyone at all, no matter where they stand. And as for everyone else, I hope that today's show can be informative and educational to us as well, because there's a lot of things that are developing and that we need to address it. So, first of all, huge shout out to my YouTube audience. Good to see everybody here. And I also want to give a shout out to everyone that's watching us on Rumble. Shout out to my Rumble people. Nocturnal Human, you did give us a Rumble rant. I'll be saving any Rumble rants or super chats for the end of the show as well. So that's what I want to do. Also, shout out to my X people and to my Kick people. Good to see everybody. Please be sure to follow us on all of our social medias. I'll be saving that stuff for the end as well. So I think it's only fair, everyone, that we do get started with our first part of the segment and first story of the day. Let's get to it. And yes, I am very well aware that today is September 11th. On this day in the year 2001, the World Trade Center was hit. And the world was never the same. Charlie Kirk. He was a large conservative commentator on social media. He was a founder of Turning Points USA, father of two, age of 31. And I want to be clear on this. I've had my differing opinions with a lot of people across the political spectrum, even here on the left. But you don't silence anybody by ending their lives. Charlie Kirk now is immortal. I mean, it's undeniable. I don't care how you feel. I'll speak it out for the truth. Whoever was hoping that, once you take out Charlie Kirk, he's going to be silent forever. No. Because again, the shooter is still on the lam. The people that were supposedly detained were not the shooters, but perhaps mentally unhinged people. There's a lot to really unpack here. But in regards to the realm of discourse, silencing your opponent through violence, all what you did is just make them more powerful. See, this is why I'm a free speech absolutist, because I believe in free speech. Charlie Kirk had the right to speak. What was he doing? Hosting an event at a college campus? That's nothing new. But in this day and age where you have people so easily triggered and offended and so upset, and for the people who are cheering for this, you do realize that there's going to be a jackboot of censorship. And I keep saying it because I want to be clear on it. I see it coming down our way. Okay? And I always want to be wrong about stuff like this, but I was proven correct about AI verification. I was proven correct about the algorithm. And, I hate that. I really do. I really do. And I am very upset at the actions of people on social media who seem to be cheering and dancing for Charlie Kirk dying. Well, you know what? I'm not. I was praying to God that he'd walk away from it. I was praying to God that the doctors would bring him back to life. When I got the news on my Discord that he passed away, I slumped in my chair and said, now it's going to get ugly. And I'm hoping that my words will be a calmness and a call for reason. But, again, at this point, I think there's a momentum of anger on both sides and fear on both sides. And there's nothing I can do to stop it. But for anybody that's cheering for this, now all what you've invited in, all what people are singing and dancing about who are cheering for the passing of Charlie Kirk is the surveillance state, suppression, the jackboot of censorship, termination of channels. We right now need solidarity. I'm not asking you to like Charlie Kirk. I'm not asking anybody to do that. But I will tell you one thing. I don't want this to happen to anybody that I know, that I'm friends with larger content creators. I don't want them to get hurt. I don't want to see that happen. I'd rather live in a world where I can exchange and engage with ideas than to be upon a pile of bones. Nobody wants that. Everybody talks a big game. You know, I've been seeing on social media people talking about civil war, civil war, civil war. Yeah, everyone talks a big game until it's finally in front of your face. I don't want that. And people can say, oh, well, gee, kid, you're a Marine. You should be ready for that. No, no one's ready for that. So, no, my fellow Americans, let us be reasonable here. Let us have reason here before all is lost. I want to pull up this article here. This is from a article from RT. And I want to be clear on this, okay? This is from Scott Ritter. You don't silence Charlie Kirk by killing him. The assassination of a political speaker you disagree with is antithetical to American values, making Charlie Kirk's murder a grave signal for U.S. society, says former Marine Corps intelligence officer and UN inspector, a weapons inspector, Scott Ritter. The founder of the conservative student group Turning Point USA was shot dead Wednesday. May he rest in peace, and condolences to his family, at Utah Valley University by a gunman firing at a nearby rooftop. Again, the shooter is still on the loose. And I want to be clear on this here, too, because I know that there are a couple people saying that they found some sort of manifesto or either that. Again, I found this from Stephen Crowder. Again, folks, we don't know the full story. Now, what's being found, at least from authorities, this is from Stephen Crowder. This morning, my team received an email from officer at ATF. The email included a screenshot from what appears to be an internal message describing a weapon and cartridges located by an ATF and other law enforcement near the scene of Charlie Kirk's shooting. And I just want to read this here. On September 10th, approximately 12:24 p.m., conservative political influencer Charlie Kirk was shot and killed at Utah Valley University. Now, here's what I talk about the weapon, okay? ATF and other law enforcement located an older model, imported model .30-06 caliber bolt-action rifle wrapped in a towel in a wooden area near the campus. Please question everything, folks, before we jump to conclusions. The location of the firearm appears to match the suspect's route of travel. The spent cartridge was still chambered in addition to 3 unspent rounds at top of the on the top of the Fed magazine. All cartridges engraved wording on them expressing transgender and anti-fascist ideology. You know, it's almost like again, I don't want to be a suspicious man here. I don't want to be paranoid, and I don't know what else to expect from this. But when you see, you know, little wordings, it's almost as if this is a perfect manufacturing of trying to take out somebody, or either that cause more divide in America, a country that is where its people are so divided right now. It's almost like people will jump to the closest source of blood in the water, like sharks when feeding on a whale carcass. Before everything is all said and done, I know there's going to be a lot of posts on social media, but I'm urging everyone, especially with larger platforms, please double check and triple check. People's emotions are extremely raw. And to those who are on the right, I know you lost your friend. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry. But, you know, the words of Charlie Kirk are this, you know, I'd rather he wanted to engage people with debate than resort to violence. All right. And I am very concerned of what is being presented here and what has been founded because of what I've been seeing, and there'll be a whole other different segment altogether, is coming into fruition. This is the perfect powder keg in which everything will explode. I want to read this here. This is again from Scott Ryder, who said, in the battleground of ideas, the solution to somebody's bad ideas isn't to shoot the person. The last thing you do is silence Charlie Kirk by shooting him. We have a poisonous environment today on social media and on mainstream media and in society in general, where people are physically threatened because of the words they speak. It's okay to be offended by people's speech. What is not okay is to demonize people to the extent that you argue America would be better off without these ideas being articulated. Stand for free speech. Stand for free speech. I want to pull this up here as well. This is from the Republican governor who wanted to give some commentary on this.
This is a dark day for our state. It's a tragic day for our nation. And I want to be very clear that this is a political assassination. We are celebrating 250 years of the founding of this great nation. That founding document, the Declaration of Independence, that this great experiment on which we embarked together 250 years ago, that we are endowed by our Creator with certain unalienable rights. The first one of those is life. And today, a life was taken. Charlie Kirk was first and foremost a husband and a dad to two young children. He was also very much politically involved, and that's why he was here on campus. Charlie believed in the power of free speech and debate to shape ideas and to persuade people. Historically, our university campuses in this nation and here in the state of Utah have been the place where truth and ideas are formulated and debated.
Now, there's another thing here, too. Around the same press conference meeting, it was indicated that the shooter was detained. That's not the case, as many are still not reporting that the individuals who were detained, or either that were taken into custody. No, that's not the case. The shooter is still at large. And again, from all the updates that we have been getting here from our webpage, as well as what's being sent to me, no, the shooter is still out there. I also want to pull up this video here from Donald Trump, the President of the United States.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible.
I want to pause here. Here's what I've been witnessing right now on social media. Everyone's getting to their camp. Everyone's being hypercharged. What I see, and I hope that eventually calmness and my words can reach out to people, is that what I do see happening once today passes and tomorrow happens, we go into the new week of September. The engagement and more surveillance, okay? That's what I'm deeply concerned about, all right? There will be a point of where there's no time for talk anymore, no time for dialogue. Be careful what you post, what you say, what you do. The assassination of Charlie Kirk has opened up a Pandora's box that I deeply fear, and that is people being silenced, no one talking anymore, and everyone resulting to knee-jerk reaction violence. This is not the case. This should not be the case at all. I want to live in a world where we exchange those ideas. Whatever happened, there was a shooter on the roof. That shooter is still on the loose. And I know right now everyone wants to go into conspiracy theories. Hell, don't get me wrong, I'm diving into that pool too. We don't know who this shooter is, where they're at, if they were associated with the people who were detained. We have so many questions we have to have answered. And yes, those cartridges did have anti-fascist ideology as well as pro-transgender ideology on it. But, you know, if you want to be paranoid here, it's a what a perfect way to divide people. What a perfect way to cause more riots. What a perfect way to have each other violently react to one another. Because I'm seeing on both sides, everyone blaming each other. I'm seeing on both sides, everyone attacking each other. Please, do not fall for that trap. If you have a disagreement with Charlie Kirk, that's fine. But I'm trying to say to people right now, do not attack each other. Because what I see coming down the road, and I want to be wrong, is more surveillance, more suppression, to where it is going to be all the walls are up, the doors are closed, and the windows are barred. I never knew Charlie. Didn't know him at all. I know my fair share of conservatives and libertarians, communists and socialists, and I'd rather speak with them and engage in dialogue before I engage in violence. Before Charlie Kirk got assassinated, I did a couple of things, you know. I apologized to a family member that I had a disagreement with way back, that we had an argument, like way back in 2010. Didn't matter, but I wanted to apologize to them. I also had a disagreement with a Republican commentator, and I'll keep them anonymous, but it was like a year ago. And I actually apologized to them like months in 2024. You know, I want to say this. I want to engage in ideas with people. And there are going to be some people whose ideas I can't engage with, or people who I can't talk to, you know. But I will not sit here on this platform and say violence is the step necessary. Because what? Charlie Kirk was a political commentator. And now there's fear. Fear in the world. I saw the video, what happened to him. I did not want him to die. When I got that news, I despaired. For I fear what comes next. So maybe this is a call for reason. Let us not devolve or go into the pathway of absolute hatred toward one another, because what a perfect way to take out a country. Its own people fighting each other and not talking. That being said, all right, let us just try and be nice to each other. I understand. All right, folks, let's go ahead and move on to our next segment of the day. I want to bring this up here too, because this is also something that did take place, and if we don't acknowledge it now, you know, this is just going to be just another one of these sad, unfortunate events. So let's go ahead and bring this up here. All right, in Colorado, there was a shooting at Evergreen High School. This took place. So a teenager is dead after the shooting of two of his fellow students at Evergreen High School in Jefferson County. The story was updated today. I know there are a couple people messaging me talking about this story here too. Just another day in America. Please keep your heads on a swivel, folks. The student then turned the gun on himself. All three students were transported to Common Spirit St. Anthony Hospital in Lakewood, where one was pronounced dead Wednesday evening. Hospital spokesperson Lindsay Foster said the Jefferson County Sheriff's Office confirmed the student who died was a suspected shooter, but did not release the teen's name. One of the wounded students remained in critical conditions. Hundreds of law enforcement officers responded to the high school at 29300 Buffalo Park Road after a 911 caller reported an active shooter at 12:24 p.m. Jefferson County Sheriff's Office spokesperson Jack Kelly said at a briefing, Sheriff officials confirmed Wednesday evening that the suspected shooter, a juvenile male student armed with a handgun, sustained a self-inflicted gunshot wound. No additional information about the suspect was available. This is the scariest thing that could happen, and these parents were really frightened, and so were the kids. And I know we say never again, but yet here we are. It's just another example of more violence in America and more of the shootings that are taking place in America. There is a grave sickness that we're seeing on social media. There is a grave sickness that we are seeing in our society. And it's causing many to despair. And I know that in this day and age where we are all interconnected, the internet can also be one lonely, terrible place. And I know there are many people right now that are being connected via online, talking to ChatGPT, or either that, consuming content that's not good for the soul. I send my deepest condolences to the families. I think now we're losing count of how many times this is happening in our elementary schools, our high schools. I don't know where we're going precisely, but in regards for empires falling, nations falling, there has never been really a great example of barbarians at the gates that destroyed a nation. It's from within. There is a mental health crisis. There's a corruption crisis. There's an economic crisis in this country that is causing a lot of people to be desperate and to hurt one another. I am urging all of you to please be safe and take care of your loved ones. And seeing the fear and reading the story further about how many of the students saw the shooter coming right at them. The wounds of this will continue on. All right, everybody. We are moving on. Roger Meadows, thank you for the super chat. Let's stop making assumptions. Thank you. I'm going to, again, you know what? I'm going to save super chats for later on in the show. My apologies for that. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your kindness and solidarity. We are going to be moving on now. I know. Normally, I'm happy-go-lucky, kid. All right. Normally, I'm happy. I'm happy-go-lucky. Normally, I'm happy-go-lucky. But, not today. Definitely not today. But we are going to be moving on now to another part of the story, and I do want to continue on with this. And yeah, this is has to deal with the fallout. So let's go ahead and pull this up. In Washington, D.C., there was an incident that took place in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk being assassinated. Representative Laura Boebert requested a moment of prayer in which Democrats are shouting no, to which Representative Anna Paulina Luna responds back, "Y'all caused this." All right. Now, I'm politically left, but I am politically homeless. All right. I'm definitely not a Democrat, definitely not a liberal. I do question many of the progressive movements that tried to reform the Democrat Party, like Justice Democrats' brand new Congress. But this is the problem that we have with our politicians, the great divide. Because, on social media, politicians like to play the game of, I'm with Team Red. You need to trust me. Oh, I'm with Team Blue. You need to trust me. And you have Representative Anna Paulina Luna saying, y'all caused this. We don't know who the shooter is still because they're still on the loose. But if their intention was to have our politicians join in with the divide for us to hate each other, and again, I'm not asking people to like Charlie Kirk. I'm not asking that. What I am asking people is to think for a few minutes. If we fall into the trap of fighting one another before we know all the facts, before everything is laid out, we could be damaging ourselves irreparably. We got to be smart about this, because as I'm looking at this picture, what a better way to divide a country. What a better way to do so, especially in today's hypercharged online media space. Breathe, have a cup of tea for a second. But no, our politicians are more than happy to play the stupid game.
What purpose does the gentlelady from Colorado rise? let's wait a minute. Wait a minute. The House will be in order. 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 We will join prayer right after this, okay?
Thank you, U.S. politicians, for adding gasoline. Oh, matter of fact, thank you, U.S. politicians, for adding in napalm to the already expanding fire. Look, yes, it is undeniable. Yes, Charlie Kirk was an influential person, but now that you have the back and forth of, no, there should not be a moment of prayer, and no, y'all caused this, you do realize that all these politicians have social media and they're all going to be giving their perspective. And yes, there are diehard supporters of the Democrat Party and Republican Party. And we're all going to be dragged in on it. Each blaming the other side, each not caring. I was very concerned of how everything was playing out. When I did the live stream show Wednesday afternoon, it was a regular happy-go-lucky day. Then I'm seeing in the live stream chat, hey, Kit, Charlie Kirk got shot. I was hoping I was being pranked, but no, I wasn't. And I saw the video. What happened to Charlie? As the live stream was going on, I knew damn well that, oh my goodness, he better pull out. He better pull out of this. He better make it out. Those doctors better be magicians or have some high-tier skills to make sure he perseveres, because this is what I was afraid of. And it also leads to stuff like this, where you have a vigil that is then interrupted and leads down to violence. So the gist of it is somebody on a scooter kept on shouting F Charlie Kirk. Things not to do. And again, you know, the shot was 200 yards away. What happened to Charlie? That is probably done by maybe somebody who knows what they're doing, but at the same time as well, if their intention was not only to end Charlie Kirk's life, but cause stuff like this, not only what we saw in Congress, but stuff that we're seeing here in the streets, oh, then mission accomplished. See, this is what I mean by a point of no return, everybody. And for those who are part of that vigil for Charlie, I don't want to speak for him because, you know what, I don't know him. But his words of, I'd rather engage in debate than go into violence, then, hey, there you go. You're not listening to Charlie's words. I'm not going to make him no saint. I'm not going to make him no angel. But his words were, hey, debate, dialogue. This is not what he wanted. I don't want this. I don't want this. But on social media, stuff like this is going to expand further and further.
Get out! Get out! Yeah, whatever! Get out of here! Get out! Get out! Get out!
Now, I don't know if you guys can hear it, but there's a guy yelling or saying to people, hey, don't do that to people. Don't engage it. There's going to be people coming here to rile you up to do that. You know, controversial statement here in 3, 2, 1. There's such thing as paid agitators. People who are paid some good money, be it $100, $300, maybe $1,000, give or take, just to go there to stir up trouble. Those on the right and the left, really. Please don't fall for those Coca-Cola classic traps. You know, I mean, the minute when you put your hands on somebody, it's over. Like, you did it. You put your hands on somebody and you fought them, right? And what did they say? They said some words. Did they attack you physically? I get it. Everything's hypercharged. I don't want this to happen to people that I know. I don't want this to happen to people that I care about in this political sphere. And you know what? Yeah, I would be angry too if somebody said F that person or F this. I hope people would be upset if something. I don't know. I mean, look, I can't predict the future, anything anymore, guys. But I would be upset if somebody did that to somebody I knew, I cared about. But resorting to violence. I know the emotions are raw and difficult, but listen to the words in the background. I'm just going to rewind a little bit. There's somebody saying, hey, calm down. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this. Please, people. Bounds of reason here.
Get out! Get out! Yeah, whatever! Get out of here! Get out! Get out! Get out!
Yep. See, you got somebody in the background saying, don't do it, because they're assholes. Who's causing the fight? Very wise words. I mean, that person's at a Charlie Kirk event. All right. Probably we agree on things, disagree on things, but he's right. Don't do it. Don't resort to that.
Get out of
Go back to mom right now, you fucking piece of shit! Take your ass 3 times! I appreciate you, man. Yeah. Like, this is the tolerant left. This is supposed to be tolerant. I just saved your life. What happened to free speech, motherfucker? What happened to free speech, motherfucker?
Jaden, stop.
You guys killed that guy who's talking about.
And that's just one example of perhaps, maybe, God forbid, more to come. You know, I've covered my fair share of protests on Labor Day, where the protesters and labor groups were protesting Trump. And you know something? I had people across the political spectrum, left and right, you know, and here's the thing. I'm glad that I'm able to have conversations with people, you know. Again, I can disagree with anybody, but when I went to cover the protests, I had family, friends, and colleagues message me and say, hey, Kit, please be careful. You know, I don't know what's going to happen, you know. Again, what happened on Labor Day was absolutely weak sauce. I even talked about it on the Jimmy Dore show. But I don't want anything bad happen to those protesters either. They have a right to assemble, a right to speak, just like all these other people here too. But I'm urging everyone, please be careful of paid agitators. Somebody's saying this to agitate you to fight them. Again, Sunny Day's right. Don't let anyone make you violent. It's better to walk away. Sometimes it is. I've been watching a lot of other content creators talking about this. I saw firsthand, and I think even witnessing it too, a bit of fear in everybody talking about this. Like, could this lead to more violence, more Americans attacking each other? I mean, there's a lot of anger and a lot of people who are unwell in this country who will do the knee-jerk reaction thing of fighting, which then leads to a whole other disaster altogether. We don't know who the suspect is. They're still on the run. Don't fall for the trap of hating your brother, your sister. I'm not asking all of us to be friends. I'm not asking you to be friends. I'm asking you, don't fall for that trap where automatically, once the first swing is done, once the first bullet is fired, there's no putting it all away. You can't Uno reverse a fist punch to the face. And you sure as hell can't Uno reverse a bullet leaving a gun. It's easy to resort to violence. But something seems like this is all perfectly manufactured for us to hate one another. So be reasonable here, people. Use common sense. On the left and the right. Don't fall for the trap of your politicians or even influencers leading you around, because that is how we fall. That is how we fail. We are better than this, and I know that we are. Hopefully these words will make an impact. All right. Look, guys, hey, I really feel strong about this. Something doesn't add up. Something doesn't add up. It doesn't smell right. It doesn't look right. And I really am concerned about it. The Accord Lord, good to see everybody here. Trans Gemini on Kick, good to see everybody out here. Yelling get out helps a lot. Well, it kind of does. Good to see everybody here. Good to see my kick people. Kick people. Keep on kicking. X people, thank you for tuning in. Oops. Sorry, I hit the wrong button. Good to see everybody here on Kick. And of course, shout out to my Rumble audience. Please, Rumble people, hit the like button. And Nocturnal Hermit Human says there's a lot you can do to avoid violence. Look, I know somebody mentioned in the chat, well, Kit, we did have a revolution. Yes, we did. I know how the United States was founded. I get it. And there's a lot we need to do to change things here. But, I do not want to lay my hands on my brother or sister. And anyone that's saying, oh, civil war on both sides, right? Are you prepared to pay that price in blood and bones? Are you prepared for that? Everyone talks a big game. I'm not going to sit here and talk, oh, I'm ready. No. Hey. If that scenario happens, guess who's not ready? I'm not ready for it. Nope. Not going to sit here and be brave. No, I don't want it to happen. Because then it's Americans fighting Americans. Brilliant move. We fell for it. Now we're fighting one another. We're smarter than that, okay? We are. Let's see what else. Let's see. Jacqueline Jack H says, someone's stealing your hair kit. Hey, look, sometimes I need to have a nice little haircut. There you go. All right. And let's see. Hold on. Myra Page. There you go. Hate begets hate, but all darkness cannot take out the candle of light. Yes. See, now that I like. Let's go ahead and move on now to our next segment of the day. Let's get to it. Let's get started with it, okay? I'm going to be separating some things up here, so let's go ahead and do this. So, let's move on to our next segment of the day. Let's go, Ghostbusters. Let's go. Let's go. All right, we're returning back to Chicago because, folks, we still got another segment about Charlie Kirk here, okay? It's not over yet. We're going to have another one, but we're going to talk about Chicago. No National Guard in Chicago after all. Trump appears too sour on the plan. Now, this is from excuse me, Block Club Chicago. And you know what? Everyone's entitled to an opinion and a perspective. But after yesterday, no, I definitely see Chicago being on the list, okay? I definitely see Chicago dealing with the National Guard, be it locally here from Illinois, or dare I say it, as I've covered on yesterday's show, from the Texas National Guard. You know something else? I need to get some water. I have to get some water. Because we're going to be talking a lot. So, as you all know, Chicago has been slated as a city. Chicago has been slated as a city that is on Donald Trump's hit list with Operation Midway Blitz on a roll. Oh, how wonderful. And yes, there are the protesters giving a middle finger to Trump Tower on Wacker Drive across from the Chicago River. Again, all right. Okay, for everybody for their right to assemble and protest. Just Trump Tower is not a government building. Trump Tower is not a federal building. It is a private building where there's hotels and residential areas in there. I would encourage anyone, if you want to give a middle finger to any building in the city of Chicago, go to City Hall. But I guess my words are not being heard. So President Donald Trump appears to be backing off his plan to send the National Guard troops to Chicago after weeks of threatening to do so. In my opinion, after what happened to Charlie Kirk, no, that's still on the table. Okay. All right. Trump has publicly flirted in recent weeks with the idea of deploying National Guard to Chicago, describing the city as a dangerous hellhole, despite data showing Chicago is leading a national downward trend in violent crime. I question those numbers. I questioned it on the Jimmy Dore show, and I will keep on questioning it because, it's not the first time numbers and polling data was given to the American people, and it turned out to be frivolous and pointless and not true at all. But no troops have arrived, though the city has experienced a surge of federal immigration agents as part of Operation Midway Blitz, which, by the way, again, activists and organizers and Democrat politicians in the city of Chicago, Mayor Brandon Johnson's executive order means squat. And what's J.B. Pritzker saying? Oh, yeah, nothing either. Okay, Operation Midway Blitz is a go, and it's happening, just like what happened in February. I said it would happen, and yeah, a lot of talk, no nothing, but nope. After yesterday, now Trump is going to still have that on the table. And Trump backed off his threats of a military incursion in Chicago as he talked to reporters Tuesday night at a Washington, D.C. steakhouse, where he was also heckled by protesters. We're going to be announcing another city that we're going to very shortly, working it out with the governor of a certain state who would love us to be there, and the mayor of a certain city in the same state would love us to be there, Trump said, according to the Tribune. During a Fox News segment Tuesday, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi also said Chicago likely wouldn't see military intervention. Okay, this article was written Tuesday. Yesterday was Wednesday. Yeah, I think Chicago's back on the list. Okay, they are a progressive city and they don't want the president's help. That's on them, Bondi said, according to Politico. Chicago should be begging Donald Trump for help to keep Chicago safe, yet they aren't. So we're going to a city that wants us there. To which I have to say again, to the Trump administration, to all the activists who are anti-Trump, to everybody, here's something that we could unite on. The real criminality in Chicago is at City Hall. Am I the only person making sense here? I mean, it was said by my great-grandfather. It was said by my grandfather. All right? By my late Uncle Bernie. The real criminality is in City Hall. That's where the problem is at, everybody. And to anyone on the right that says, oh, well, Chicago got the government deserves, voter turnout is extremely abysmal and low because Chicagoans have given up on the city government. You want to end the crimes in Chicago? Go to City Hall. All right? The National Guard should be forming up just like in that scene from the Blues Brothers right there. Sheriff's Department, Police Department, FBI, ICE. There you go. Activists and everybody else should be cheering on. It'd be a great bonding moment for this hyper-segregated city. And dare I say, maybe for the country. Chicago's known for its corruption. Chicago's known for its criminality. And it all starts in a place called City Hall. That's where you go. That's where the problem is. All right? So maybe these words will fall on somebody's ears. Maybe. If you really want to bring in change in Chicago, if you really want to be serious, you just don't do raids and standing on a corner, stopping the gangbangers and bad guys. And yes, there are bad guys out there in the streets. It is undeniable. But go to City Hall. There. That's the only way to really end this segment. the problems in Chicago is in the beating heart that governs it. Otherwise, nothing's going to change. But I will say one thing. After what happened to Charlie Kirk and everyone being hypercharged and protesting and attacking one another online and in real life, I think Chicago is still back on the map, in my opinion. But if you want to bring in change, go to City Hall. What more can I say? All right, folks. Great Pretend says, love you, Kit. Oh, well, I love you too. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. All right. Good to see everybody here. Good to see everybody here. Look, let's see. There you go. Nazi hater says Chicago is a great city. Well, it is a great city. We just have a lot of problems here. Soul Construct. Kid has a huge heart. It's my greatest weakness. It's my weakness, actually, Soul. It's my weakness. It's gotten me in trouble. Being kind has gotten me in trouble. You know. So, kindness. I've been told it's my greatest quality. But as I've learned, it is me being kind to people has led me to be hurt. So, yeah. It's my weakness, my kryptonite. Maybe I should be more meaner. Maybe I should embrace my anti-hero, my villain arc finally. Hashtag Kit Cabello goes evil. Evil Kit. He wants to rule the planet. All right, folks. All right. We are moving on now to our next segment of the day. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. So there are people across the political spectrum now, especially on social media, everyone weighing in their 2 cents. And a lot of influencers now who have all the power and all the figgy pudding. I would say this to anybody right now watching. Now is the time for us to be reasonable to one another and to treat each other with respect. All right. But I'm never going to get what I want. And I don't think my words will ever reach anyone of this influence. But Hassan Piker didn't do himself any favors by speaking out. He sure as hell didn't.
No, we gotta,
This is on the 9th of September of this year. There's Nick Fuentes and Hassan Piker. Listen carefully.
The moment is clear. You got to sick like the ACP guys on him. Okay, that's it. You got to get one of those like Has al Dink type motherfuckers to just like eat his ass alive, you know?
Jesus Christ, Hassan. You shouldn't have said that on the 9th because yesterday was definitely a no bueno.
Let him fight. Whatever the fuck his name is. What is it? The Albanian dude. Lots of Twitter randos calling for violence against you. Stay safe, bud. I know, man. What else is new? You know?
Now, look, I've been seeing a lot of influencers being afraid. A lot of people with larger platforms being afraid. You know, I mean, I had one person say, Kit, please be careful. Look, I'm nobody. I'm definitely a nobody. I am a nobody. Sorry, folks. The great Mad King Kit is a 0, not a hero, okay? But seriously, Hassan, don't make this about you, man.
This is every day. Every day of my life, okay? Every day of my life for the past 10 years. It is what it is. It's been happening, and it'll... Dude, people will be like, oh, dude, there is a... there are people who are wishing death upon you all over the internet. Like, I know. Of course people fucking wish death upon me. What do you mean? If you cared about Medicare fraud or Medicaid fraud, you would kill Rick Scott.
Jesus Christ. You know, one day Hassan's really going to get a, you know, I mean, right now he is so protected by Twitch. It's incredible. You know, again, it's incredible. It really impresses me. I also want to pull up this tweet here. This is from Legal Mindset. Because again, you know, you have a lot of people on social media and Reddit. There's a lot of unhinged people out there. Reddit continue to ignore calls to and celebration of violence on their platforms, moves all plausible negligent to knowingly and willfully ignored. If the suspect ends up being active on this or similar forums, discovery will be interesting. All right. Here's something on Reddit. Stop reporting this. It's staying up unless Reddit takes it down, but it doesn't violate our rules at all. You can also stop reporting my comment. Also, if you see a fascist in the comments that our bot hasn't got, please report them. This has to deal with Charlie Kirk being shot. Okay. And of course, you have everyone in here saying we won, he died, and and guess who's going to talk about it? A lot of influencers, a lot of people on social media. And when I see people who do type this, say, "Oh, I'm so happy he's dead. Oh, I'm so happy that he's gone." This is the great sickness that's out there. People having parasocial relations on social media with somebody that they'll never know. I never knew Charlie Kirk, but you know, as soon as I got the word that he died from one of my viewers private messaged me on Discord and said, "Hey, dude, it happened." And to the person who did that, thank you for informing me so I could do a quick video response about it. But at the same time as well, I was like, oh God, this is terrible. And I see this stuff like this to where you have the knee-jerk reaction of a lot of people on social media. The quick reaction. I also want to pull up this is from Asmongold.
And giving this asymmetrical, in my opinion, advantage to left-wing people to fully and with complete freedom practice genuine terrorism on a daily basis, and then, you know, congratulate each other.
And again, I want to be clear on this too, because people are pointing this out in the chat here. We don't know the political ideology of this person yet. Until this suspect's been arrested, we don't know where they stand politically. I know everyone's saying, oh, it's somebody who's liberal, someone who's left. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know if it's a foreign agent or not, okay? There's a lot of speculation here, which is why I'm encouraging people who are protesting or holding vigils or doing counter protests, please don't be stupid and fight one another, because we don't know yet. So if you don't know where this person who did this horrific crime to Charlie Kirk, where they stand, we don't know. We can't be attacking each other based on false information. Everybody be reasonable here.
About how moral and how good they are for doing it, because something bad that happened in Palestine or something bad that Donald Trump did 3 years ago. This is just simply a response. This is what's going to happen. And so, and I think that that's probably what it's going to take for these left-wing people to realize what a bad idea what they've been doing is. Because until it starts happening to them, until they start having people that are their friends or, you know, their, you know, like icons that they look up to, the same way people looked up to Charlie Kirk, you know, until they start seeing those people get killed, I don't think it's really going to be real for them. And unfortunately, I think that's the path that we're headed down because of the government and social media companies and every other seemingly governmental apparatus that has just completely hand-waved this problem and ignored it entirely. So the death of Charlie Kirk and the assassination of him should not come as a surprise to anyone. This should be something that everybody could have expected. All you had to do is read Twitter for an hour and you could have told me this would have happened, of course.
I want to disagree with him and say that he's wrong, but no. I just didn't think it would happen. I was that naive and ever hopeful. Again, my weakness, you know, naive and hopeful that people would not fall for that trap. And the thing is, now that it has happened to somebody of that influence, I want to be clear. I know people who have far larger channels than me. I don't want to see anything bad happen to them. I don't want to see anything bad happen to anybody, period. Even people who I don't know. And this seems such a perfect way to have people go after each other. This also caught my attention. As you all know, South Park just removed their episode mocking Charlie Kirk and MAGA influencers from cable in respect for Charlie Kirk after the assassination. Now, Charlie Kirk actually responded on this one here. Okay, so wait, hold on. South Park gets this right, and I think they've been watching a lot of Charlie Kirk videos. He called us a win and said we should not have. It said we should not have thick skin. Notice how you don't see Charlie calling for violence. All right, and here's the thing: I don't know Charlie. I can't speak for him, but I don't think he would want that video taken down. I don't think he'd want that episode taken down. I don't think he'd want that.
South Park gets this right. In fact, I think they've been watching a lot of Charlie Kirk videos. Watch.
Oh my God, what makes you think you have the right to say what I do with my body?
Let me ask you something. If a pregnant woman is killed and the baby dies too, why is the killer charged with a double homicide?
Well, because people have different beliefs.
It's not about belief, it's about truth. Science confirms life begins at conception. So yes, Jeremiah 1:5 says, before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. But it's just morality that demands we protect the most vulnerable.
And we got our own award show as part of South Park. I was told going in, Charlie, if they say your name, that's a big South Park.
So there you go. I don't think South Park should have done that. I mean, okay. I'm gonna stick to that. No, I don't think South Park should have done that at all. Period. Because people's emotions are running high. You know, it's of no relation, but how apropos to today's 9/11. But my favorite episode of The Simpsons was when Homer went to New York City. Oh yeah, when he went to New York City. Shout out to my friends who live in New York City. You know, a little bit of note before I pull a little bit more videos in here, which I want to cover the knee-jerk reaction of a lot of influencers on social media. But that episode was very fascinating. Homer just had a bad experience in New York City, and he was reliving the nightmare of having food thrown at him, being robbed, and being chased by a pimp, and then falling into the sewers of New York City, and then remarking, and that's when the chuds came after me. Cannibalistic Humanoid Underground Dwellers. It's a great movie. Great movie. Great movie. Great movie. Great movie. Debate me later. And you know, one of my favorites, and I don't think I could quote it, but when Homer, the reason why Homer was there was because Barney got so drunk that he parked his car with a whole bunch of tickets by the World Trade Center. You will never see such commentary like that again. Great episode, 10 out of 10. They need to reinstate the episode. Charlie liked it. And I think Charlie would still want it up there. I think a lot of people, because he responded to it with good humor. Because when you make it on South Park, you made it. And I am worried about that too, because again, notice it's like, oh, it's got to go because it's going to make people upset. It was satire, and Charlie liked it. As he still lived, he liked the episode. Did you see Charlie Kirk saying, "Oh, take that video down because it offends me"? No, I didn't. And people are doing a disservice to Charlie. I want to pull up this video here, just to add in a little bit more of a different commentary.
Charlie Kirk was shot in Utah, giving a speech there. I just found out he's passed away. I can't believe he's dead. He was shot in the neck. Some of you might have seen an elderly man being dragged away. Turns out it was not him. Authorities don't know who did it. Violence is not the answer.
Hi, Pikas. Thank you for the comment, but you know what? That's never going to happen. I'm nobody.
This is a horrific tragedy, and we're all in danger now. This is a terrible, terrible thing to do. Violence is intellectual surrender. It's giving up and saying, I'm a loser. I don't know how to win in a battle of ideas. I'm going to resort to violence like an animal. It is the very last thing anyone who's progressive or on the left would ever do. We are for nonviolence. We are for peace. We are for our fellow human beings and humanity overall. So I don't know who did this, but whoever they are, they're a monster, and they've done something terrible. That was not just a pundit. That was a human being. I'm so sorry to the Charlie Kirk family. My heart.
Yeah, I think a lot of us should be nervous. I want to pull this up here. Hold on. Sorry about that. Let me just pull this up here, because I am again concerned with how people are going to be reacting, and people are going to be very emotional, and they should be. But everyone needs to take 2 steps back. We don't know anything about the shooter yet. We don't know anything. They're still on the run. They're still out there.
What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing where we are sympathizing with fucking murderers? What are we doing when websites are protecting people from being called fat and ugly and a whore more than we're punishing people for calling for the deaths of our senators, as well as the citizens, as well as radicalizing audiences to enact violence while recording themselves breaking the fucking law? Are we all seeing the same fucking shit online? Are we, guys? I have been banned for nearly 2 months total over the past 4 months for calling people names. Yet there are people out there calling for the deaths of other people, political figures, and attempting to radicalize and weaponize their fucking audience to hurt people and kill them who have gone unpunished. What the fuck are we doing? What is possibly going on in the world today? This is disgusting. It is. It's absolutely fucking disgusting. It's pathetic. It's a joke. I can literally feel in real time myself becoming radicalized because this country is forcing me to.
Now, I've been seeing this more and more. People are saying I'm becoming radicalized. I'm becoming radicalized. You know, you can't stop people from feeling how they're feeling. Can't. You definitely cannot. But I am going to point this out here. When it gets to the point to where you start reacting to the point of I'm going to be in this mindset radicalized, can you ever come back? See, the thing is, a lot of influencers, everybody. You know, let's be clear. They got the following. They got the legions upon legions. You know, millions upon millions of subscribers, followers, supporters, etc. And you know what? That's a lot of hard work to get to. All right. But when you build an audience like that, you're gonna get people who be like, "Yes, I agree. I agree. How do we do this? How do we go forward? How do we stand up? I'm angry too." Call to reason here, people. Call to reason and being rational. I understand the idea of commenting and talking about what has happened yesterday. And there's a lot of reasons why to comment on this and why I'm talking about it, because I'm worried about that censorship. I am worried about overall the regulation that could happen on social media, not just for content creators, but for all of you watching, and how it can also impact the people that you know. Because right now, you got a lot of scared people out there. You have a lot of confused people out there. And there's even reports right now where just coming out, investigators say they have a high quality footage. They're not going to release it yet of the shooter. Okay, please, everybody. Like, again, if people are going to be this hypercharged and then start hating the other, your neighbor, your brother, I'm urging everybody that does have the platforms of millions of followers, we got to be calm about this. What happened to Charlie was wrong. Definitely that. And I sure as hell don't want to see that happen to anyone on the left either. And you know something? I want to go on the record here. I condemned the people that were cheering Charlie Kirk's death. But you know what? If I see people on the right cheering or celebrating the deaths of people on the left, I will condemn them too. Okay? Resorting to violence, resorting to this, saying you're becoming radicalized and everything else. We have a privilege having these platforms, and this privilege could be taken away from us very quickly. Very quickly. I've been in these trenches now for 8 years. Let's be reasonable here. Everyone has the right to feel the way. Everyone does. I want to pull up this last video here. This is from one of the major influencers on Kick. You know, again, people, you know, just let's be smart here.
But I'm not. Yeah, if you want to publicly say some stupid shit, then I'll make you publicly apologize for saying some stupid shit. Okay? You did do something risky. Don't do that. You posted the smoking meme 5 minutes after he passed away. Not cool, bro. And you know it's not cool. You know that's not cool, bro. So I gotta call you out for your bullshit. Okay? Risky, come on, bro. You know that wasn't cool. You know it's not funny. It did, yo, bro. I saw it and I instantly was mad. I was instantly so angry. And I was like, bro, I pay all you guys so well. It's like I pay you guys more than a regular job.
So what's the final note? Well, the final note is, well, if you're like me, if you're in this environment and you cover social media, news, politics, commentary, for the next couple of days, this story will devolve and change and adapt and separate in different segments of our society. And if people still keep on reacting in a way in which their reason is overwhelmed by their emotion or how they feel or how they're being radicalized, there will be a point of no return. I dream of better days, of simpler days ahead, and I don't think my words will change anything. But what I do hope is that we remember who we are, because once we cross the Rubicon of unending civil violence towards one another to something else, we'll have to look at future generations and wonder what we did by not preventing our own emotions from getting the better of us. Was the cost really worth it? I don't want to live a world piled of bones. I don't want that smoke. It's not in me. I don't got that dog in me. But I encourage all of you to help contribute and try and build a better future while there's still hope. All right. Hey, everybody. What the F is a Rubicon and how does one cross it? It's the Great Rubicon River. The Great Rubicon. The Great Rubicon. Oh, the Accord Lord. Oh, no, it's more like this. Ding, 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 ding. Emotional police. Hi, I'm Philip. And this is my best friend, Tommy. We're here to make sure that you're so emotionally happy. Yeah, and today is 9/11. How apropos. How apropos. How apropos. How apropos that today is 9/11. Jesus, what happened? Why did this happen? How did this happen? Please, everybody. Please, everybody. How did this happen? Anyways, let's go ahead and move on .org to our next segment of the day. And again, look, I don't want to see what happened. You know, I hope that the South Park episode does get reinstated. I don't want it to be taken down permanently. I don't want that gone. I don't want that gone at all. I want that to be reinstated right away. So let's go ahead and move on to our next segment of the day. Let's go, Ghostbusters. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go indeed. All right, here we go. Here we go. And here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So, in a week in which there's been madness and stupidity, The View decides to add more gasoline to the fire with what happened to the young woman who was murdered in Charlotte. Now, The View, hosted by Joy Bear and Whoopi Goldberg, did not do themselves any favors. What happened to this young woman who was murdered on the train is by far the most horrific thing ever. I saw the video too, the uncensored video, in which that young woman looked up as she got stabbed. The fear in her eyes and the loneliness, and also the few seconds left in which she died. Now, the individual who caused this horrific crime was a multiple offender. He also is blaming what? And I actually have an audio of him where he said the government implanted materials in his body that made him commit the horrific crime. Okay. That's your defense. Fine. Okay. I don't believe you, but okay. Teach their own. There must be a trial and due process. Let's see, this is what I mean when The View says something stupid, okay? And I try and host my show as best as I can, be as objective. Yes, I have my opinions, Man, we live in a day and age where there's a lot of dumb, stupid people out there. Most notably, The View.
But you know what, Whoopi? I have to say.
Let me
Oh,
just
go ahead,
say,
finish.
and so if y'all could stop cutting funding
A good
for
one.
places,
But that's why it is political.
How about that?
That is exactly why it is a political situation, because in the first 40 days of the Trump administration, this one, they terminated 128 grants from the National Institute of Mental Health. In May, they cut $1 billion in federal grants for mental health services. And
$1
then
billion?
Yes. And then they talk about, oh, mentally ill people are with the guns and mentally ill people are killing, blah, blah, blah. But then they cut the services. So it is political.
Okay, so look, I'm gonna definitely give a full-on boot throw at Joy. What Joy? You're gonna talk about how Democrats did the same cutting too. I want to talk about what happened in Chicago with our fantastic mayor, Rahm Emanuel, shutting down half the mental health facilities. You know, when I covered the 2019 Chicago elections, the third debate that was taking place, you know what they all talked about? How the mental health facilities were being shut down. Hey, Rahm Emanuel, Democrat. Whose administration was he part of? Who? I better goes tweet, and Al goes, who? Gee, I wonder who. I wonder, do you ever wonder? And of course, Whoopi Goldberg now saying stop politicizing this. Oh, it's already political, Whoopi, and you added gasoline to the fire. So what do you think was going to happen?
Look, a young woman is dead. Let's take that into consideration. And yes, a man who should have been behind bars was loose and out.
Well, he should have been.
Well, listen.
Yeah.
He was a schizophrenic man. His mother begged them to take him and put him away. So stop politicizing this. This is not political. This has to do with how we take care of our sick Americans when they are in need.
Yes, but too bad the Democrats just deny all the funding. You know, doesn't that suck? So this is one of the audios right now that took place, and I'm encouraging everyone, please, you know, just listen to us out here. But apparently, the individual, the Carlos Brown Jr., speaks from jail for the first time since the brutal murder, and he's saying that the government put materials in his body. All right, if that's the case, let's do an X-ray discovery, shall we?
So you said something in your body did what?
Nah, the material, put it like this, the material used in my body is stabbed like
And so she just got stabbed.
yeah. You know that's not me. I'm talking about just for no reason. But since they did that, now they gotta investigate the material my body is exposed to. Since they want to do all that, now they gotta investigate.
It's funny because she's from the Ukraine. She's from Russia, and you know they got a war. They had a war going on against the United States. So I'm just trying to understand, out of all people, why her?
That's hey, it ain't. I don't have nothing. They just lashed out on her. That's what happened. They lashed out on her. Whoever was working the material, whoever was working the material, they lashed out on her.
As from a local radio person who was interviewing them, okay? So that's what took place. I also want to address this as well because the Department of Justice is going to be taking over the case. So it's already been politicized. The video has been politicized. And adding on to this too, you know, a lot of influencers and commentators, including Charlie Kirk himself, added in his 2 cents to this story. So
We are going to prosecute him to the fullest extent of the law. We have taken the case because it's murder on mass transit. Progressive DAs cannot handle this case. The progressive DA in North Carolina in Charlotte, his name is Spencer Merriweather. He believed in letting him sign a written promise to appear. He participated in passing that, agreeing to let criminal defendants sign a written promise to appear in court. That's what he was allowed to do in July. Weeks later, he murdered Iryna. Unbelievable that this happened. No longer. We have jurisdiction now. We will not let a progressive DA keep this case. Justice will be served. He'll be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. He had 14 prior arrests. He had been to prison before for assaulting someone, robbery with a firearm. He had had 3 assaults, 1 on a woman, not charged, yet he made multiple 911 calls again, gets arrested, and was told to appear because he wrote a written promise to appear in court. Had he been held in custody, she would be alive today. This has zero to do with politics. I've been a prosecutor for a very, very long time. This is one of the most gruesome murders I've seen in my career. President Trump cares about it. I was with him today because...
Yes, and we all saw that horrific murder online. It's been shared all over social media. This is already going to become politicized, and because of the commentary of Charlie Kirk and a few others, it's going to be added in more to it. This incident and crime did take place sometime in late August. I want to point this out here to people who are watching. There is going to be the emotional response of everyone politicizing this and everything else that took place this week. If there's ever a point in time where we want to see the factions and groups and people coming at one another, this is the point. Now, the people at The View saying, stop politicizing this, don't politicize this, it already happened. Everyone on both sides politicized this already. I mean, that already happened. The dam burst. The water is out. Everything's been flooded. This is a fact. It's been politicized. And The View wants to say that it's not the case and then also go ahead. And yeah, I get it. Blaming Trump. I get it. Blame Trump. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay, fine. Can we blame the previous other Democrat and Republican lawmakers that have destroyed the healthcare system in this country? All right. I'm just not going to blame one president or one politician. I'm going to blame the previous seat holders and current seat holders in the United States Senate and House and the previous presidents too. I don't want to hear how one president did another thing better because things have been getting progressively worse. It's both sides of the aisle. Both parties. Remember that. All right. All right, everybody. All right, everybody. All right, everybody. Hold on. We are not done yet. We ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. We ain't done yet. No, not by a long shot. Not by a long shot. Hold on, folks. We are still going on with our next segment of the day. If you haven't done so already, please tear off that like button. Shout out to my Kick people. A shout out to my Roman people. Shout out to everybody that's tuning in. All right. All right. There you go. Let's see. There you go. Yes, hold on. And let me also say. So hopefully everything's all good. Hopefully everything is working well out there too. So hold on, everybody. Please take good care of yourself. Sorry, just had to message somebody. Just had to message some people live who are sending me so much positivity. Shout out to my Kick people. Oh, good to see everybody here. By the way, how are we doing on Kick right now? Are we doing good on Kick? Let me just see how we're doing. This does add a little bit of lightness to the story because we do have an update to a current event. Current event that is taking place live on Hard Lens Media. So there you go. So hold on, let me just see how we're doing. Oh, hey, we're in second place. We are defeating Toby TV, which is great. That's awesome. And we are in second place to an Ecuadorian news channel on Kick. All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. See, everybody, we're winning. We win by winning. All right. So Waka Waka, praise be. Shout out to you, Dr. Nick. Shout out to Trans Gemini. Shout out to everybody. It's a me, Sarah P. Thank you also so much for your tweet as well. So there you go. Let's see. Evil Kit Cabello. Hold on. I'll read the Rumble rants. I'll be reading the Rumble rants very soon, and the super chats and all of that. Okay. And we also got a couple other kind, generous donations here too. So I want to acknowledge it. I'm going to say that all for the end of the show. So let's get to it. Let's get started with it. So on yesterday's live stream, we talked about the British ambassador, people of Britannia. Never forget your true Roman name. But in case you guys have forgotten, we talked about this, where the British ambassador penned a 10-page love letter to his best buddy, his best pal, his best friend, his homie, his ace in the hole, his high-five buddy mountain friend, Jeffrey Epstein, the world's most prolific human trafficker in international history. Goodness gracious, Cretaceous. And so, yes, so the British ambassador to the United States, Peter Mandelson, described Jeffrey Epstein as his best pal, calling him sharp-witted, intelligent, and a mysterious man who once upon a time parachuted into Mandelson's life. And this was released by the U.S. House Oversight Committee on Monday Fun Day. He goes on to say, you would spend many hours just waiting for him to turn up, and often no sooner were you used to having him around, you would suddenly be alone again, leaving you with some interesting friends to entertain instead. Oh my God. Huh. Well, that's interesting. And look, these are just photos of him. Okay. But wherever he is in the world, he remains my best pal. Happy birthday, Jeffrey. We love you. Very creepy pictures, you know. And so this is the whole love letter right here, okay? Saying how, you know, he parachuted into his life with a photo. You know, there he is on one of Epstein's properties. This is the U.S. British ambassador. Okay. It's a love letter. Hey, you know, we all want friends who love us, but I mean, this is a little much here, a little bit creepy. And knowing all the things surrounding good old Jeffrey, I mean, it makes one raise an eyebrow and wonder, why'd you like hanging out with Jeffrey so much? Jeffrey parachuting in with the golden parachute, right? Talking about this, talking about all the friends and happy-go-lucky days. There's Epstein right there talking, smiling. Happy birthday, Jeffrey. We love you. Aw. Now, going on a scene, when asked about this, a Downing Street spokesperson said the UK Prime Minister Ken Starmer continued to have confidence in Mandelson, who was appointed ambassador in February and has played a key part in strengthening trade and investment ties with Washington, D.C. Mandelson, a former Labour cabinet minister and one of the architects of the UK's new Labour project, has faced questions over his association with Epstein for years. A spokesperson for Mandelson told the BBC the ambassador has long been clear that he is very much regrets ever having been introduced to Epstein. He previously told Financial Times that he wished he never met him. Bullshit. All right, describing Epstein as a prolific networker. Epstein, convinced in 2008 of soliciting a young person for, again, trafficking, was awaiting trial on a federal trafficking charges where he died in a Manhattan jail, allegedly. Maxwell, his partner, was convicted in 2021 of conspiring with Epstein to traffic young people, serving a 20-year sentence now at a nice cushy job at Club Fed. But here's what happened. UK fires ambassador to US over Epstein revelations. Oh, there might be some justice in this world. So ain't that happy? So there you go. So that's what happened to the British ambassador. He lost his job. He lost his job. And I for one, first of all, am happy about that. You know, I think that's absolutely incredible. All right. I am happy about it. You know, the UK fired their British ambassador to the United States. People of Britannia, please do better. Also stand up against the censorship that's happening to your country. Why stand for it? So, and again, in 2008, before becoming the ambassador to the United States, again, Peter Mandelson knew and was good friends with Epstein. There's even an email saying, I think the world of you, and I feel hopeless and furious about what has happened. My goodness. All right. In another email, he wrote, your friends stay with you and love you. Madison's emails, published Wednesday by the Sun paper, were sent after Epstein was indicated by a grand jury in 2006. The New York financier pleaded guilty 2 years after, again, soliciting sex with a young person. On Thursday, UK Foreign Minister Stephen Doherty told Parliament that Prime Minister Keir Starmer was withdrawing Madison as ambassador, effective immediately. See, they all know each other, man. They all know each other. They're all friends. They're all buddies. Epstein had photos with himself with the high society people. You know, again, I'm never going to watch that movie Eyes Wide Shut ever. Never again. Because, you know, I think we were given a warning. I think we were given a severe warning about that film. And, you know, just so you all remember, again, this was directed by Stanley Kubrick. You do realize that the studio was upset with him. They tried to edit and control his video, his movie. And the ending is always questionable. But I think he was trying to give us a warning about overall what's happening in this country. And are we ruled over by sociopaths? Yeah. The answer is yes. Yes. Yes, we are. They're doing insider trading. They're leading us into pointless wars. They're bailing out the banks and the corporations. The answer is yes. It's very real. So, there you go. There you go. So the British ambassador lost his job. His love letters and emails all made public. And you know what? I think I'm going to end this on a perfect note because everything is being revealed, right? All lies are...
All lies will be exposed.
As they should be. That being said, you know, I've been getting some calls from Scam Likely. I wonder, what do they want? What do they want? What do they want? Yep, what do they want? What do they want? What do they want? What do they want? Anyways, gotta love them. Anyways, folks, let's go ahead and move on to, I think now, something a little bit humorous, okay? Because promises were made, so promises are made. So let me go and first of all acknowledge some Rumble rants here. Nocturnal Human says, nobody has to earn empathy, but you can earn its absence with how you choose to live. Nick from RBN said, you don't have to celebrate what happened, but you don't have to cry for someone who had none. I understand that. But what happened to Charlie, though, again, I feel sorry for his family. I do. And I'm also very fearful of what's going to come next and how people are going to be responding to one another. I'm very afraid about that. I'm so afraid about that. That's what I'm really worried about. Nocturnal Human, Evil Kit Cabello. He won't say God bless you when you sneeze. That's right. And you tipped that twice. Thank you. Thank you for the Rumble rants. Thank you for the Rumble rants. We do appreciate the Rumble rants. We also got a YouTube super chat. Let me acknowledge that. $2 from Roger Meadows, who said, let's stop making assumptions about why he was killed. I do agree. I do agree. And now look, Mo Palm, thank you. Your car warranty is up. Yeah, well, F off with the car warranty. Let's see. Also, let's see. I feel sorry for it. Look, everyone, I'm gonna steal this line from Donald Trump. I want everyone to stop dying. I want everyone to stop dying. Stop dying. And by the way, one other thing here too. Boom. Serious show. Always wearing pants. Okay, I got some people messaging me here too. So there you go. But I got nothing but love. Nothing but love for everybody that's tuning in. There you go. All right. Let's see. I want to make sure we got a couple other people here. Let's see. Hold on. What else we got here? Let's see. Shout out to people tuning in. All right. Again, everyone's going to be covering this story their own way. And, I just wanted to state here that everyone that's watching, we just got to treat each other with respect. After I got done doing the live stream, I actually went to a baseball game, and this was the most enjoying. I really, White Sox, go Chicago White Sox. We beat the Tampa Bay. We beat them. Take that, Tampa. Came to the wrong side of town to mess around with those Southsiders. And it was just that moment of just peace and calmness. And I was enjoying with family. It was a wonderful baseball game to watch. Just taking it all in. I hope that calmer, better days are ahead for us all. And I want that for everybody. I do. I want that for all the people. That's what I want. But also I want to pull up something else here too, because it's important to add in some humor. Because you guys, this is the morning dump. The morning dump where you crap on company time. We've been very serious here. So hey, always be serious. Always be serious, but have some fun. Not cool. That's a bioweapon. Now, everybody get your mind out of the gutter. This is not what it looks like. It's not what it looks like. Okay. All right. It's a pen. It's a pen. It was a pen. That's all it was. It was nothing else. Everybody get your mind out the gutter. And of course, hey, why not?
Best water on the planet.
Look at that.
Best water on the planet.
Yep. Best water on the planet. And then finally, folks, this won't be Hardlens Media. Where are my gators at? He's a chunky boy. There you go. There you go. See? Hey, he's a good boy. He's a chunky boy, but he's a good boy. All right, folks. And as always, if you want to help out Hardlens Media, folks, as always, we are live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Central, YouTube, Rumble, Kick, X, all that good jazz. Support us on Patreon if you can. We do appreciate all the solidarity. Here we are on YouTube, X, Rumble, Kick, Patreon, Substack, Discord. Patron supporters, please go to the link in the link tree, Hardlens Media. You can find all of our links also on our YouTube page as well. All these links will lead you in ways in which you could support and help build up the Hardlens Media Network. Look, I believe in free speech, and I believe in the work that we do here. I love what we do here every day. And I want everyone to have a very beautiful Thursday morning. And if you want to help out Hardlens Media even further, please, everyone, if you haven't done so already, we have our GoFundMe link. We are in a legal fight, and any donation will help us out. Our goal is to at least get to $50,000 so that we can stand tall in this ridiculous case that's been put against us. We are fighting a massive amount of cruelty. It is really cruel. It is harmful. It is insane. And we have our whole story here. But again, folks, just so you guys know, any donation will be used to pay off our legal fees and to also keep us alive and keep on fighting, because we know that we have truth and justice on our side, and we have a really good legal team here to defend us. All right. And I just want to state right here, that the plaintiffs did file a motion for a protective order, a gag order, that would prevent us from discussing this case publicly. That gag order was dismissed. Now, I am ever hopeful that more attention is brought to this, because the fact that there was an attempt to put a gag order, to put a protective order on us, it was dismissed by the judge. What does that tell you what we're facing off against? And why we need your help? We have a right to speak about this, what has happened to us these last 2 years. We ask that you stand in solidarity with us, and we appreciate any donation. We actually did get a recent donation, and I want to acknowledge this person here as well. They were very kind to give us $50. I think their name will show up. Let me just make sure I get that correct. I believe that their name is Corey Martinez. Thank you so much. $50. You will be getting a thank you letter from me, as I've given a thank you letter to a lot of people who've been supporting our GoFundMe. Solidarity and support and much love. Again, you could find that link in our pinned in our live stream chat, a link to our GoFundMe on our Instagram page, on our X account, on our Facebook page, and even in our YouTube page as well, and our YouTube community section. Yesterday was very high emotion, and of course, it's going to follow today and tomorrow. I'm ever hopeful that better days are ahead and that we can all live beautiful, peaceful lives. Until then, please take good care of yourselves and each other. Keep your heads on a swivel. Drink water. And I will also let you guys know that on tomorrow evening, I am going to be on the Larry Sharpe Show. So I'm looking forward to that. Until then, we got music by Jesse Jett. Jesse Jett, who's #1 in the hood. Let's enjoy this video or this music. And may you guys have a peaceful, prosperous Thursday morning, afternoon, and evening. Good vibes all around and better days ahead.
Now what you're following, that's idolatry, that's just fake. And all that wallowing that you tolerate, that's not faith. The kings of colony watched autonomy make our graves. The kings of colony know no policy, only rape. Now once you fall asleep, it won't bother you what they say. But the kings of colony, while they slaughter, they still complain. We say, please color me, still too solemnly, still too plain. All hail economy, praise the pharmacy, seas in flames. They're buying up Hawaii, and the smoke's not even cleared. Those vultures smelled the fire and an enterprise appeared. Investment opportunities were melted down, communities leave vacant space BlackRock has been lusting for years. The council meets in private and they don't discuss survivors. Concerns among construction groups are all Lahaina hears. They'll wander through your city with this mocking sword of pity next to Oprah and her camera crew who tore the Trail of Tears, where footage flows as freely as the stream of liquid steel and the pools of pure aluminum that trickle down your wheels. And Biden's here to say he knows exactly how it feels, cause he had a kitchen fire once and had to miss a meal. And people still believe that piece of shit deserves your vote, like he's not why supplies are being smuggled in by boat, like he's not why our citizens were forced to stay and roast. And he can't unfreeze your funding, folks, cause Azov needs it most. I'll bet my every dollar Biden watched it with a smile. I'll bet he knows the whereabouts of every missing child. He's just the kind of man who lives to trample something tribal, collecting culture's corpses just to throw them on the pile. Like he and all his buddies didn't dream about the day when those who dared defy the donor class were cleared away, when home insurance triples and you can't afford to stay, and your land falls to the hands of those whose windfall fan the flames. The state will take Lahaina and they'll bastardize its name, and tourism will swarm it all the same. You see, the state we left Lahaina shows the ground rules of the game, the planes that in the night ignite the planes. And if questions raised that reckon the potential use of lasers, I suggest you take a closer shave by way of Occam's razor. And if those civilians stood between this country and its gains, then there's really nothing further to explain. Because you may know this already, if you truly know our past, but it ain't the first occasion and it will not be the last where Americans are kettled in and made to bear the blast, are barricaded in and left for ash. How many in Lahaina now are lying there awake and still can hear the city we left leveled in our wake? They still hear all the people that we let the fire take, instructed from above to stay in place. So look to the horizon, 'cause a fire comes for you. Desire made incarnate of the power-hungry few who instructed the police to not let anybody through, to barricade them in, and so they do.